Welcome along everybody to Shieldfield Park in Berwick, the biggest international meeting this track has ever staged in its 44 years of use for speedway racing, at the third qualifier in the first round of the series to decide who is going to go through to the 2013 Grand Prix Series proper. Do not be fooled though by the weather conditions you see at the moment. It looks a reasonable evening for weather. It was nothing like that round about 2.5 hours ago. We're about half an hour from the meeting starting at the moment. 4 o'clock this afternoon, the heavens absolutely opened as expected. Round about a 40-minute deluge hit the track, and the mopping up operation is still going on as we speak, because that later downpour has seriously affected the ability of the track staff to blend the damp home and back straights in with the covered up first and second bends and third and fourth bends. This was a scene earlier this morning. We'll catch up in a moment with both the Berwick team manager Ian Ray and also one of the directors here, George Hepburn, coping with the conditions after lots of rain the last couple of days.
We put them on Thursday night, around about 7 o'clock, and they've been on since, as you can see at the moment, which we had a lot of rain yesterday and probably 30 mil of rain yesterday, and look what we've got.
So if you hadn't put these covers on, would we be in a situation where it would be a real struggle to get the meeting on? Because we can see just the very inside of the track next to where the covers have been shows the difference between the two.
It does. You wouldn't be here speaking to me now.
You reckon it'd be called off already?
Oh, definitely. I would have called it off yesterday, because it just wouldn't have had it with the forecast today.
They're in control of the meeting, but they've told me that George and I are in charge of the track conditions. It's up to us. We've cancelled practice because it was going to make such a mess. But it was to help to get the meeting on. The priority is getting tonight's meeting on, but we're in control of the track basically.
Practice would have been on the day of the meeting between 11:30 and 1:30 in the afternoon ahead of the 7 o'clock start. This is what the track looks like in good weather. This was in much sunnier conditions only 3 days beforehand, and this is how it looked when the heavens opened a little after 4 o'clock this afternoon. And you can imagine, after all the hard work the organisers have done, both locally here at Berwick and also the FIM organisers as well, look how soggy it is outside the pits, making sure all the machinery is ready and proper for tonight's meeting. An absolute nightmare so close to the start of the meeting. Referee Marek Wojcicki from Poland has said he will try and get the whole meeting through if he can, all 20 heats, but it has to be borne in mind tonight, if need be, a result can be declared after either 12 or 16 races if we can't get through all 20. We're looking for 9 qualifiers to go through to the semi-final stage of this Grand Prix qualification series. 3 semi-finals taking place in a couple of weeks' time. Davey Watts certainly didn't expect these conditions tonight.
Not when I come here in March and it was sunny. I guess I probably should have known then that we were using up a bit too much sunshine in March, but yeah, it hasn't been kind to us for the whole season. I think somebody told me the other day that there was 50-something rain-offs this year in England, so just shows that the weather's not been kind to us, and it's proven it again today. So, but you know, it's a big meeting and there's a lot of determined riders here, so hopefully we'll be able to get it on.
Yeah, it should be good. It's a good racetrack, so they've got the covers down, so if the rain can go away by 7 o'clock, we'll get a meeting on and get this qualifier over and done with.
Chris Harris, the finalist last week in the Grand Prix itself in Denmark at the Parkenstadion in Copenhagen. That's a world away from here in Berwick. Elsewhere on our DVDs, on our second of the 2 DVDs you've got with this package this evening, you can catch up with a track walk from one of tonight's track reserves, Lee Complin. The other track reserve for tonight, the Berwick number 1, Ricky Ashworth, is going to be joining me here in the commentary box with his views as the evening develops. But this, the biggest nightmare for everybody, that the covers have had to be taken off as late as possible. Berwick co-promoter John Anderson on the right there. Tony Steele, former Grand Prix referee, just standing there in the white shirt surveying the situation. And everybody just getting the covers off as best they could. They had one go at 5:30 to get them off, then it started raining again briefly. So we're now at 5:50, and eventually the covers being peeled back. Some of the riders have had a look out across the track. They've been told no practice, no parade laps. They'll be introduced to the crowd as close to 7 o'clock as possible, and then it will be go out and get on with it, including Chris Harris in Heat 1. But the job that Ian Ray and the rest of the track staff have had is to blend such a dry surface on the bench. Shows how well the covers have done to blend that in with the damper straights, and they're doing the best they can to sort that out. You can see more about all of tonight's riders on our second DVD. Here's a quick skim through the lineup. Sam Masters, Emiliano Sanchez, well known to fans here who've watched them ride in the Premier League. Krzysztof Bukowski making his name with Peterborough in this country at the moment in the Elite League. Chris Harris, the British Grand Prix winner from 5 years ago. Gino Franchetti, a former Berwick rider now with Plymouth. Marcel Helfer and Henry van der Steen, relative unknowns within British Speedway from Germany and the Netherlands respectively. Kenneth Hansen still hoping for a big career in this country now that he's been sorting out his accountancy studies back in Denmark. Ryan Fisher, always either hero or villain, depending your views on his all-action riding. Mate Kuss, another former Berwick rider, as is Tero Arnio. Davey Watt first visited here with the Isle of Wight some 11 years ago. Danny King will get advice from his brother Jason, currently a bandit, about how to ride this place, though Danny's been concentrating on the Elite League for many years. Lena Sundström knows his way around here from his days with Rye House. Facunda Albin knows his way around from some recent practice sessions, the young Argentinian, and the American Kenny Ingalls completing our lineup for this evening. They'll have 5 rides each, tot all the points up. There's no grand semi-final or final or anything like that. There will, though, be a series of run-offs if necessary to determine the 9th and final qualifying spot, the reserve spot for the next stage of the Grand Prix Series. That will be 10th spot on tonight's scorecard, and then any podium run-offs if necessary for 3rd, 2nd and 1st place. And that will be all sorted out as the meeting develops, so we'll keep you in touch with the scorecard as the racing progresses. But at the moment, for everybody in the pits, it's just a case of adapting to the conditions as best they can. And for one or two of them, particularly we saw there the Dutchman Henry van der Steen, I doubt he's ever seen anything like this for a speedway meeting, both in terms of the layout of the track around the football pitch here, and also how borderline these weather conditions are. The news is that what should have been a 6:45 parade and 7 o'clock first race has been put back to 7 o'clock parade and 7:10 first race. Davey Watt at least will have the advantage of not coming out until heat 3. Krzysztof Bukowski is one of the riders who's lumbered with going in heat 1. It'll be Masters, Sanchez, Krzysztof there and Chris Harris who get the first look at the track, with every other rider, I suspect, by that stage leaning over the fence and making what they can of these conditions. Danny King taking it all in his stride at the moment, but these are very nervous times. The top riders in this meeting should only need about 6 or 7 points to get through to the next stage. Realistically, they probably need just 3 good rides out of the 5 they'll have scheduled, so there is room for the odd nightmare in these conditions and still for the star names to get through. For some of the others, it's going to be a case of pick up as many points as they can. Somebody like Kenneth Hansen, I would think he's right on the boundary tonight of whether he'll get in or not to the next stage. And there's Lee Complin and Ricky Ashworth, 17 and 18 respectively. Lee is the Berwick captain and Ricky the Bandits number 1 here from week to week. The overflow car park in use behind the pits. We're just about ready to go. Let's hope the weather's okay the rest of the way. They were hoping for a couple of thousand in good weather conditions. They might be pretty close to that, even despite the dreadful day. I know the track office here reckon they've taken 400 phone calls, they reckon, during the day from people making sure that the meeting is still on. And it certainly is. The riders are on their way round. Dick Barry is the master of ceremonies here. He's got loads of international experience elsewhere in this country, and indeed his travels abroad to Australia, New Zealand and Argentina. He'll hold the proceedings together out on the track. You'll also hear the voice of Dennis McCleary in the announcer's box. He's part of the management team here at Shieldfield Park. Should say as well, all the riders being introduced and receiving some mementos from Alex Harkis, the British Speedway Promoters Association chairman, who is also the FIM appointed clerk of the course here this evening.
And the first rider on parade, ladies and gentlemen, with number 1 and representing Australia. Will you welcome to Sheffield Park, Sam Masters? At number 2, representing Argentina, ladies and gentlemen, Emiliano Sanchez. Wearing number 3 and a very nice green hat, can I welcome to Shieldfield Park for the very first time, Krzysztof Bakowski. Wearing number 4, I think we've met him before. Ladies and gentlemen, the two-time Border Annapolis champion, will you welcome Chris Bomber Harris? At number 5, it's a former Berwick Bandit. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Italia, the former Italian champion, Gino Franchetti. At number 6, well, it's a special welcome because he came rushing in here at the last minute and we're delighted to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, a change to your program, representing Germany, Marcin Helfer. And still they keep on coming. From Holland, will you welcome Henry van der Steen? With number 8 on his back and the country of Denmark's pride in his heart, ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Hansen. You might have met the next fella. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the United States of America, flying Ryan Fisher. Another former Berwick Bandit, albeit fairly quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, from Redcar and from the Republic de Czechia, ladies and gentlemen, Matti Kus is here. At number 11, another former Berwick Bandit representing the proud nation of Finland. Will you welcome back Tero Alanio? With number 12 on his back and representing Australia, will you welcome Davey Watt? Lucky number 13, ladies and gentlemen, his brother rides for the Bandits. He rides up in the big leagues. He's representing the United Kingdom. Here is Danny King. Number 14 and the representative from Sweden. Will you welcome Linus Strom? At number 15, a young man who's been in Berwick for 3 weeks learning the language. Unsuccessfully. Will you welcome Facundo Albin? At number 16 from the United States of America, and hopefully lots of people from Workington will be cheering this man, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Ingalls. Number 17 in your program, you may have met the gentleman before, the captain of the Bandits. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Great Britain, it's Lee Coplin. And at number 18, representing Lancashire and the United Kingdom, in that order I'm sure, and the Berwick Bandits, will you welcome Ricky Ashworth. We've also got a very special welcome to our match officials, our meeting officials this evening, and they have been instrumental in assisting us every inch of the way as we meet them. I'd like you to show your appreciation because they've had a hard day today. The weather has not been good. They have never ever given up hope that we would put on this meeting. I knew it was going to happen. Your referee for this evening, representing Poland, Marek Woloszczyk. The jury president, the FIM jury president from Denmark is Niels Monk Nielsen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All I